The first half of our rite of passage was the opening of the door. But today, we find out what's waiting on the other side. Every message, every sign, every tear you've shed has been pointing to this moment. This isn't just a recap. It's the time you integrate everything, every lesson that you've learned, and realize what you're truly walking towards. My name is Kayla, and this is Maiden Mother Crone Tarot, where we hold sacred space for divine divergence, also known as ADHD. Today, we are going to begin with some breath work to ground us into the space, to clear out any distractions, to regulate our nervous system. We're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. We'll do 3 rounds of this, and I will be making a box on the screen to help you keep up with our progress. Are you ready to begin? Let's start. How do you feel? I know I feel a lot more grounded than I did last night. I feel a lot more here. I feel a lot more present. I feel a lot more open. Thankful for that feeling right now. So today we're going to talk about what we've learned over the past 2 weeks, days 1 through 14, what lessons we've learned, how we can integrate those even more fully. And then we're going to ask the cards, what door is opening up for us in weeks 3 and 4. Week 1 was all focused on sacred self-love, reclaiming your soul, reclaiming who you are, giving yourself grace. Week 2 was all about the weight of RSD, rejection-sensitive dysphoria, the toll it takes on your emotions, on your beliefs, and how we can also regulate our nervous systems, help get us in the place where we feel safe enough to be ourselves and present who we are. So throughout the messages that we've received, have you had any feathers landing for you? Any messages? Were you encouraged to sit in silence, even if just for 5 minutes? Did you do any journaling? Did you do more breath work? Were you able to stand in the authenticity of who you were and hold your own hand through the process, saying, "It's okay. I'll never abandon you again. I'm here for you"? Were you silencing the inner critic, telling her that she no longer needed to be so unkind, giving her a hug and understanding where the criticism was coming from, but showing compassion to her and showing her who we are going to become? Are you embodying these energies? Are you breaking out of this 8 of Swords that's been recurring throughout these messages? You know, the self-limiting beliefs, the imprisonment that is all self-imposed. Have you been able to step out of that energy? And have you been able to show up for yourself? You know, every time you watch one of these videos, you're learning. You're showing up to learn so you can incorporate this into your life. Have you been committing? Have you been showing up? And then, even more, have you been integrating? That's the whole purpose of these messages. I can bring them to you. I can just live them for you and show you exactly what you need to do. But ultimately, you are the one responsible. Remember the Eight of Swords. You are the one. You are the conscious creator, magician. You are the one that has to bring this energy into your life. Have you been able to do that so far? If you have, let me know in the comments. I'd love to celebrate you. And if you found any meaning in the videos over the past 15 days, please like this video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more. You know, we have 14 more days. And I have some really interesting series that are going to come up after this series is over. So you don't want to miss it if you've enjoyed the content. But also let me know what message has rung the truest. What do you want to see more of? I'm making this content for you. So please let me know. How can I show up for you? What messages can I ask at the table? And I'd be happy to do so. I think for myself over the past 2 weeks, the biggest thing that I've begun to integrate is honoring my energy more. Honoring when I do an energy check after each reading. I'll ask the archetypes how they believe I delivered the message, how I interpreted the messages, if I was in alignment. And through that practice, it helps me stay in alignment. And it also helps me work through my own internal limiting beliefs. A lot of times I'll bring a message and I'll think afterwards, my own inner critic, wow, that was so scattered. That was so terrible. My energy was so bad, right? I'll have all these immediate judgments. And a lot of times the archetypes will come through and show me, the message still landed despite how you felt, despite what you think. My job isn't to be perfect. My job is to be present, to be here, to be open, to be the channel for the messages to come through. So throughout the 2 weeks that we have been together, that has been what I've been learning the most, is to surrender more, to soften more, to open up more, to have less judgment, less expectation around how these messages are meant to land, right? So let me know in the comments below what messages have landed the most for you. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to what is waiting for us on the other side of this self-acceptance and integration of the messages that we have. The coming weeks are going to be on emotional overwhelm and mental overwhelm and brain fog. So that's what we have coming up. But before we get through that, we have to, accept who we are first. So that is what we've been integrating. All right. In my practice, I work with 3 spiritual archetypes: the maiden, the mother, and the crone. I also dedicate tarot decks and oracle decks to each of those archetypes to preserve the energy and to be an offering, right? In my practice, I think of these archetypes or these energies as friends. I talk to them like they're my friends. And I wouldn't just use the same thing for a person, right? I would have a deliberate line of communication, a deliberate link to that person. And so that's the purpose of these different decks and why they're dedicated. So we're going to begin today with the Maiden's deck. Maiden, can you please give us guidance today on what is beyond the door? What is behind the door? Now that we've opened it, now that we've initiated this becoming, this transformation over the next 30 days, what is on the other side that we've already halfway through? We've already begun. We've already started doing this holy, sacred work of reclaiming ourselves. What is to come, please, Maiden, in the next 2 weeks? Ooh. Got another chunk of cards there, but I'm not taking all those. The first 2, oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, the 2 of Wands and the 2 of Pentacles so far. The 3 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles. So, 2 of Wands, Two of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. This. Oh, oh, I'm getting chills. I like this a lot. Okay. Then, I really love this. We have the Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. This is all about collaboration, working together as you and I, and then also spirit, all of us working together. You know, the three archetypes of this channel, all of us working together as we begin or continue on this journey, as we continue expanding. Oh, I love this so much. Okay. The next archetype we're going to work with is the Mother. Mother, can you please give us guidance today on what the next 2 weeks will be holding for us? What are we unlocking? What is on the other side of the door that we have opened, that we have initiated this change, this sacred reclamation? Yeah, that's sorry. I can speak today. What is on the other side of the door, please, Mother? Got the Justice card, Five of Wands, Queen of Wands, and the Three of Pentacles. With the Lovers on the bottom of the deck. You know, if I think about cards that have been coming up a lot throughout the past 2 weeks so far, the Lovers has been coming out a lot. The Queen of Wands has been coming out a lot. The Three of Pentacles. So the first card that the Mother gave us was Justice. This actually has personal meaning for me. It came out in a personal reading that I got from Luna. I will link her channel if you want to check her out. She's phenomenal. So phenomenal. So check her out, please. The next card the Mother gave us was the Five of Wands, followed by the Queen of Wands, one of my favorite cards. Love it. And again, we are being given the Three of Pentacles. So we see the Mother and the Maiden doing the same thing they did yesterday, which was use the same cards, just in different layouts, right? On the bottom of the deck from the Maiden, and the Three of Pentacles on the table from the Mother. So that's awesome. I love when the energies are just working together. You know, it's like a triple braided cord woven for our strength and protection to help us through this rite. The next spiritual archetype we're going to work with is the Crone. Crone, can you please give us guidance tonight? I keep saying tonight and it's 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, guys. Can you please give us guidance today on what is behind the door? What is behind the door that we have opened for this rite of passage, for this sacred reclamation of our sovereignty, of our sacredness, of our worthiness? We have the King of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, I love that. Yes. Oh, especially with the mental overwhelm that's going to be one of the themes of the last week. The first card again with oh no, that's not the same card. Okay. Five of Swords. So we have a lot of numbers repeating as well. The Nine of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. And the Death card. Oh. Oh, I am for that, you guys. I am for that. Okay. So we asked Spirit, we asked the Maiden, the Mother, and the Crone, what is on the other side of this door that we have opened? What are we going to encounter over the next 2 weeks? What is coming for us? What are we going to tap into? And the Maiden gave us this Two of Wands. And this Two of Pentacles. So I feel like right away she's saying we are going to be planning. We are going to be looking at where we want to go, making changes in our life to be able to get there, while we are still doing this Two of Pentacles, while we are integrating, continuing to integrate what we've learned in the past 2 weeks, while we're continuing to embody those energies. We're not forgetting what we've learned. We're going to keep stacking on top. We're going to keep building each brick up higher and higher, adding these lessons to where we are a completely different person at the end of the 30 days, right? She also gave us the Three of Swords, and this makes a lot of sense. This week's theme is emotional overwhelm, and you wouldn't really have that if there wasn't a lot of heartache and pain. But what I'm most excited about in her line is this Nine of Pentacles. This is what we have to look forward to at the end of these 30 days. We're going to be self-made over into this new energy of ourselves, into this new sacred self-acceptance that we talked about in week 1, where we are no longer letting RSD, week 2, hold us back, where we are the master of our emotions, week 3, where we can cut through the mental fog with this King of Swords in week 4. I love that. The Mother then gave us Justice. This is fairness, but also because of the scales can represent balance, right? So your soul is seeking justice for the ways you have sacrificed yourself in the past, for the ways you have sacrificed expressing yourself, shrunk in shame, stepped back from the light. You're going to receive justice over the next 2 weeks because you are going to become the version of yourself that no longer does that, right? And then we have the Five of Wands. So this is competition and conflict. But one thing I love about this Five of Wands interpretation, it speaks to me of sisterhood. It's like a sacred dance. And they're in a circle, so it reminds me of cycles, right? We were talking about that a lot yesterday. Patterns and cycles. So with the Five of Wands from the Mother and the Three of Swords from the Maiden, I feel like these are going to be the energies that we're going to be dealing with, healing, integrating, examining, bringing the light on. This is what we're going to be looking at over the next 2 weeks. We've done this already, right? But we're going to do it again. There's going to be more layers. We're going to tap into more. You guys, I'm so excited. The next card is the Queen of Wands. Right? Look at how beautiful this Queen of Wands is. She is in her throne. She knows her worth. Look, she's wearing red. She is rooted and knows that she is safe. She's safe and stable. She doesn't have to, she never shrinks. The Queen of Wands, if anything, expands, right? She's the most charismatic queen in the deck. She attracts what she wants just by being her presence. She's holding roses, and there's a black cat at her feet. So I think this is speaking to our trust in the universe, our trust in spirit guiding us here, in our intuition, in our connection to spirit, surrendering to that even more, but having this strong knowing that everything is unfolding as it's supposed to be. Everything, it grows as it's meant to grow. Even if with this rose here, even if the thorns prick us when we're handling it. And then the next card that the Mother gave us was the Three of Pentacles. The weaving together. I love the color in this card. I love the artistic display. So we're going to continue to work as a community. We're going to walk hand in hand. You, me, the Maiden, Mother, and Crone. And you know who else we're going to walk with? Our past selves. We're going to hold her hand and we're going to say it's all right. And you know who else we're going to work with? Our future selves. We're going to ask her what we need to do, what steps we need to take to become the version of us that is this Queen of Wands. And with the Lovers on the bottom of the deck, this divine love that's coming in, this divine self-love, It's going to just look at how illuminated these two are here. It's going to illuminate everything that we need to work on for the next 2 weeks so we can continue to grow. Then the crone gave us the Five of Swords. So again, these are and she gave us the Nine of Pentacles. So the Five of Swords represents conflicts. So maybe that's something that you have this emotional dysregulation over. So this is, again, all mental energy, which will be heavily discussed in week 4. But also this week, our emotions, I talked about this last night, come from our thought patterns. They trigger those chemicals that create the emotions that you're feeling. And with the Five of Swords, this is conflict. So we could be digging deeply into previous conflicts you've had, or maybe there will be people. I can speak. Maybe there will be people who are not going to like the way you're changing. We're going to start establishing some sacred boundaries, right? Maybe they're not going to be very fond of that, and there may be some additional conflict coming up. Maybe this will give you anxiety, keep you up at night. But we're going to put that to rest as well. We're going to fully integrate that. So what I'm seeing are these cards for what we're going to be working on. We have the Three of Swords, the Five of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the Nine of Wands. So that's what's coming. So we got coming, my friends. But there's just so much power on the table, too. We have the Queen of Pentacles. She is living the life that she wants because she has created it. Just like this Nine of Pentacles, this self-made woman, she has created it by every brick that she's laid, by every weed that she's pulled out of her life, by every sapling that she planted that has now matured into that massive oak that is not swayed by the storms of the emotions. The Queen of Pentacles, she's not shaken. The Queen of Wands knows her worth and is magnetic. And then the crone gave us this Death card. Death of this previous cycle, of this previous version of ourselves. Death gets a bad rap a lot of times, but it's just the ending of something and the rebirth of something else. The emergence here, look, the roots that are coming up, the emergence through. And I just talked about a tree. I'm getting the image of an egg if I look at it from far away, but there's a tree here. So we're going to have these old patterns of thought die. They're going to pass away. They're going to be buried. And then from them, they're rotting corpses. I wasn't sure if I should say it, but it kept coming back. This new life, this new sacred, knowing of your worth, this new passion for chasing what you've always wanted to chase but have never put yourself first for is going to bloom. It's going to blossom through this death cycle. And you're going to understand that you needed this death card. You needed this decay so that it could turn into compost, so it could fuel the growth of these dreams, so it could fuel the growth of these healthy thought patterns, so that you could have your garden full of a bounty that is the result of your tender, loving care. And we can't forget this King of Swords, right? The mental clarity that we are going to have, that we will be able to know our worth is not dependent on our energy. It's not dependent on our output. It's not dependent on our environment, the way that our house looks. It's not dependent on what other people think of us or other people say of us. The Queen of Wands knows her worth. She knows that she is worthy. And at the end, you're going to know this too. You're going to be reborn with the Death card into the Queen of Wands, into the Queen of Pentacles, into this Nine of Pentacles. And true divine justice is going to be witnessed by everyone in this situation, by me, by the people in your life, by the friends in your life, by your family. They're going to see the divine justice that's coming through, where you're no longer putting yourself after everyone else, where you are sitting confident, stable, magnetic, magnificent, brilliant, not dimming, not hiding, not shrinking. Where this, I think this is the theme right here. This is the theme, the Queen of Wands. This is what's coming. This is who we're going to become. We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. We're not going to keep falling back into this pattern of anxiety. We're not going to keep falling into this pattern of fear, of overwhelm. Last night, the message was the storm. What is the storm teaching us? The storm feels like overwhelm, but if we can just honor the magnificence of it, see the fertility in the chaos, then we can have these new roots bloom. We can continue to soften so that our seeds can be planted. We can continue to know, because when we know, it attracts, it magnetizes all that to us. And we have that deep knowing. I talk about this. We have the maiden, the mother, and the crone energies inside us. Everyone does. We have that curiosity, that adventure. We have the joy, the passion. We have the stability, the nurturing capability, the caring, the love. And we also have that deep knowing, the inner gut, the intuition, the connection to spirit, to be able to say, yes, I know my worth. Yes, I know everything is working out for me. Yes, I know that despite my life not reflecting my reality, the reality is I am worthy. I'm not behind. I'm not lost. Everything is unfolding as it's supposed to. And as I trust myself, as I surrender to unleashing and becoming, unraveling these old patterns, as I continue to work on this heartbreak that's been buried for years, to work on the competition and comparison that we have, comparing ourselves to modern society, comparing ourselves to people that are not neurodivergent, comparing ourselves to who we were 15 years ago when we didn't have the same responsibilities. When we can get out of that energy and have the ultimate self-love, the ultimate integration of masculine and feminine energy, where we soften to receive, but we take inspired divine action, not action that is rushed, not action that is forced or coerced, not action that serves someone else's purpose, but action that is in alignment with our soul, action that is in alignment with the things that light us up and bring us joy. When we're in that energy, everything changes. And then under that on the deck is the Seven of Pentacles, right? Everything changes, and we learn to continue to water those seeds that bring us joy, continue to water those positive thought patterns, those positive beliefs, continue to balance everything we're learning, integrating it into our lives, every brick, step by step, every seed, watering it, seeing it bloom, seeing the manifestation of it in our lives, watching it as it opens up and unfurls. And the best part is that we're doing this together. We got the Three of Pentacles twice, my friends. We're doing this together. I'm here for you. You're here for me. We're going to keep going. We have our previous self, our past self. We have our current self. The one that is the truest, most aligned version of us for the best and highest good of all, not just ourselves. And I can't wait. I can't wait to tap into that energy with all of you, because I know it's within you. I know that we don't need to fix you. I don't need to fix myself. All we need to do is remember our divine self-worth. There was nothing wrong with us ever. That we can stop shrinking, that we can start expanding, that we can trust ourselves again. rebuild that trust, and can continue to pour in compassion to ourselves. We need to be our best friends. Think of all your friends. You would never say the things to them that you've said to yourself. So we're going to stop doing that, and we're going to start saying all the things that we wish someone would have said to us. Starting with, I'm never going to leave you. I'm there for you. I'll never abandon you. You are important. Your thoughts are important. Your emotions are valid and important. And they don't make you less than. They don't make you unworthy. There's no reason to be ashamed of them. We're going to integrate them, continue to integrate them, and incorporate them into this healing journey, which is that of sacred self-acceptance. I love this message. It's so beautiful. Sending love and light to anyone that is open to receive it. Thank you, Maiden, Mother, and Crone, for your guidance, for what's behind this door for the next 2 weeks. Thank you for the message you've brought for the past 2 weeks. And thank you for helping us continue to integrate these day in and day out so that we can actually make real and lasting change. Change that ripples out and changes our reality, attracts the version of us, attracts the physical mirror to what's really going on in our inner landscape. And thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. You showed up again for you, and that is so amazing. If this message resonated with your soul, please let me know in the comments. What are you most excited about in the next 15 days? Yeah. What did you learn in the past 15 days? And what is it that you're going to start chasing? What passion, what joy? Let me know. And then I'd like to let you remember, in this channel, I invite you to come as you are and stay as you become. If you missed the previous 15 days, I will link the video and you can check it out. I invite you to join us tomorrow. You are divine. You are worthy. You are loved. Bye, my friend.